In the silence, in the waiting, in the longest of nights, I believe that your light will still shine. In the failures, in my despair, I will look for your peace, though this wilderness is all I see.
Well, thank you for joining us again today. We're just continuing to think about how we live out our life of faith with some of the things that might make life difficult. I'm always amazed when someone says to me they're bored. I guess it's particularly something we get with children and maybe some young people too. I'm not sure I remember a time when I was bored, not having anything to do. I normally have a list of things I would love to do if only I had the time. Nevertheless, life can become all about routine, and it can feel that we're stuck in a rut, life feeling staid and predictable and dry. How is your faith life at the moment? Does that feel stuck and predictable and dry? I'm going to read Psalm 86, 1 through to 13. We could have picked any number of psalms or passages today, but we're going to just look at Psalm 86, 1 to 13. Hear me, Lord, and answer me, for I am poor and needy. Guard my life, for I am faithful to you. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I call to you all day long. Bring joy to your servant, Lord, for I put my trust in you. You, Lord, are forgiving and good, abounding in love to all who call to you. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for mercy. When I am in distress, I call to you because you answer me. Among the gods there is none like you. Lord, no deeds compared with yours. All the nations you have made will come and worship before you, Lord. They will bring glory to your name. For you are great and do marvellous deeds. You alone are God. Teach me your way, Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart, that I may fear your name. I will praise you, Lord my God, with all my heart. I will glorify your name forever. For great is your love towards me. You have delivered me from the depths, from the realm of the dead. Now, the truth is, for the most part, the life of faith will be incredibly normal and uneventful. God calls us to keep on going, to continue living with an undivided heart, living out our lives wherever God has placed us, taking faithful step after step, even in the mundane and the normal. One writer has said that if you look at the life of Jesus, his whole life, 9/10 of it was spent in a small town, Nazareth. And Jesus there was doing ordinary things like learning and working and sleeping and eating and spending time with family. And even in the 4 years of his ministry time, when I guess life was a bit more exciting and eventful, there would have been still ordinary days and weeks and periods of living faithfully in very quiet ways. And Jesus did that, didn't he? He lived faithfully for God every day of his life perfectly. He's the perfect example of having an undivided heart, of walking each day, whatever it brought, in faithfulness to his Heavenly Father. One writer has said that God doesn't necessarily call us to do extraordinary things, but to do ordinary things with extraordinary love. God doesn't necessarily call us to do extraordinary things, but he does call us to do ordinary things with extraordinary love. Each moment of our lives should be lived with our eyes on the Lord, trying to live each moment faithfully with an undivided heart. And this goes for the mundane tasks as well as the more excitable days. And in fact, if we are living each moment with our eyes on the Lord, each moment with undivided hearts focused on God, looking to be faithful in all we do, whatever the task, well, we may discover that actually each day is amazing. We get to live it in the presence and in the service and in the worship of the living God. How amazing is that? that could transform each day for us if we understood that, if we recognised that, if we acknowledged that. Real devotion, in fact, is grounded in real life. Real devotion isn't necessarily here on a Sunday morning or spending that time in quiet time in prayer. They are devotional, they are times of worship, but kind of real devotion is grounded out in our living every moment for our Father in that real life. We can seek and we can find God's glory in life's ordinariness. Perhaps like yesterday, you're longing for something to change in your life. But don't let that mean that you are looking beyond today and tomorrow. God longs that we keep our eyes fixed on him today, whatever our day looks like. Genuine faithfulness preoccupies itself with the present, focusing on what it will do, not what it could do. I'm going to finish with a few lines from the psalm we read. Teach me your way, O Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart that I may fear your name. I will praise you, Lord my God, with all my heart. I will glorify your name forever. Father, whatever the day holds for us, whatever this week holds for us, whatever this season holds for us, we thank you that living for you makes every day amazing. Father, those things we find mundane and not very exciting today, Father, transform them. May we recognise that we are doing them as an act of worship to you. That we can spend our days in communion, in relationship with the living God who made the whole universe, but yet who knows us and loves us and enjoys spending ordinary days and ordinary times with us. We ask for your transformation. May we fix our eyes on you. May we live for you. May we have undivided hearts for you in all we do and say. Amen. May God bless us this day.
In the silence, in the waiting, in the longest of nights, I believe that your light will still shine. In the failures, in my despair, I will look for your peace, though this wilderness is all I see. In the silence, in the waiting, in the longest of nights, I believe that your light will still shine.